remember at the beginning of this whole pandemic, we'll call it that. I mean, they call it pandemic, we call it plandemic, that kind of stuff. For a year and a half, depends on where you're at, people are limited on the amount of items they could buy in certain stores, certain items. Pretty much most of the stores, most of the places, grocery stores, that kind of stuff, your big box stores. Primarily it was meat, tuna fish, bread, towels, toilet paper, stuff like that. Wipes, any cleaning products, really, there was a limit to that. And it was more so at other stores versus other stores for items, that kind of stuff. I know like Aldi and, there's Sam's Club, Costco, Walmart, Target, those, and then they put rules and how to go down aisles, which way, that kind of stuff. All that crazy stuff, and the amazing plexiglass that got put in front of everybody to divide them. Yes, you could see, but that was protecting everyone supposedly from the worst thing in the world. So I'm surprised it didn't stop bullets. But anyways, I'm being a little facetious here, but that's how it was treated. So I'm just saying this because this is the power that the government will have and will use with CBDCs, central bank digital currencies that they're rolling out. And last I heard, it's going to be, I believe, June, maybe July of 2023. That's real soon. That's within 6 months' time, 7 months' time. And if it's not that, it maybe doesn't even have to be that. Whatever kind of false narrative, psyop, in quotes, emergency, they're going to sell to get people to step in line. Similar to back in elementary school. You got to form single file lines up against the wall, that kind of stuff. Maybe it was boys lines, girls lines, or maybe it was generated by what people were going to classes, but it was always single file up against the wall, and for everything, in order to do anything, in order to leave the room or enter rooms, that kind of stuff. And that's how people are conditioned. So when they're older, any sort of emergency that is claimed, they want the people, and the people do obey, to get in line and waiting for orders to follow, whether they agree with them or not. A lot of people are like, it's just easier to go along with this thing. And that's how it is. So I'm saying this because with CBDCs, whether there's emergency or not, it might be both. It might do both at the same time. Or, a few emergencies and a CBDC to try to get this thing implemented. But whatever it is, they know they have the power now. And they're trying to keep it the best they can. And my fear, and I hope I'm wrong, and I say this all the time, I hope I'm wrong, but it's going to be, you're going to be limited on exchanging or purchasing items, whether it's because of an emergency, that's in quotes, or because of the CBDCs, and you're using too much carbon, or because you haven't done X, Y, Z. You're only allowed so much for this month, or for this few weeks, or whatever it is, that's half a year. Because you're getting close to your limit, or you're past your limit, you are no longer eligible for these items, or to do this with whatever. But I just want to put an example on here, what type of items I foresee being part of that, that's going to be limited. You're not going to be able to have the freedom to do whatever you want, whenever you want. And, exchange with whoever you want. And I'm just going over this just to get people thinking. I'm not saying go out there and be scared to death, or go out there frightened and just hoard, that kind of stuff. I'm just saying, think about it some more, talk to family members, talk to whoever you want, or don't, and then maybe you want to react, one way or the other. Maybe your reaction is, every time I go to the store, I want to buy a couple more items of this, or every time I only go to the store once every 2 weeks, maybe I want to go there a couple times, within that period, whatever. Or maybe I want to go start, learning these skills or reaching out to these other people, starting to get acquainted with my community, that kind of stuff. But anyways, I'm going to get down this list. Food. So food items, like they already did, quantities are going to be limited. The types of meat, if it's even available, is going to be a thing. And then there's going to be, because you've purchased these items that they don't approve of fully, you're going to be, maybe you're going to be checked. And you're not going to be allowed to do this or that thing. Or you're not going to be allowed to purchase these items because you got these items. That's something that I foresee happening. And I think it's right around the corner. Vehicle fuel. You already use too much, or you're only allowed so much, or because you bought this much last trip to the gas station or whatever it is. Now, because of that, you cannot go back to the gas station for 10 days or for 20 days or whatever the numbers they're going to put on here. The heating fuel is going to be the same thing. If you are not on your own and control your own, like propane or that kind of stuff, or have stuff stored, you're going to be limited. They're going to throttle that down. Like natural gas, even purchasing propane, if you have your own tanks, if you don't have them full at all times, there might become time where they're going to say, well, no, you can no longer fill them. You can get so much. And because you filled, because you got half of your stuff full, we'll say 6 months ago, you're only allowed a quarter of that now for the next 6 months, or whatever it is they're going to do. And natural gas, if you're hooked up directly, they can just shut you off. They can just stop it. I mean, that's the deal there. And that goes along with energy, same sort of deal. Energy use. Water use, if you got city water, rural water, whatever, if you got water coming in that you don't control, it's going to be throttled. I mean, they'll start by, just raising the prices tremendously to try to veer people's habits and veer people what they do, that kind of stuff. But eventually, it's going to come to a time where it's just going to be stopped unless you obey, unless you do things. Ammunition. That's a huge ordeal, and I don't think I have to explain anything there. Same with firearms. I don't think I have to explain anything there. Why? Second Amendment shall not be infringed, period. That's it. There should be nothing on this whatsoever. You shouldn't have to jump through a hoop to do anything whatsoever compared to firearms, ammunition. It should be a non-topic. Shall not be infringed, period. But that's not the case. That's one of the most infringed things we have. Nowadays, it's freedom of speech, too. I mean, we know how that's going. Gold, silver, other assets, especially if you have CBDCs, they can say, no, you can't use these CBDCs, these central bank digital currencies, for that purpose, to purchase a firearm, to purchase ammunition, to purchase gold, to purchase silver, whatever. They can just do that. It's not going to be in your control. You're not going to have any control over the labor that you spent earning that, because it's not yours anymore. Once it's in their hands, it's not yours. Just like putting stuff in the bank. Put money in the bank, once it's there, it's not yours anymore. And I know I explain this over and over. It's like loaning money to a friend, and they say, hey man, can I borrow, $1,000? I'll get it back to you in a couple weeks. Well, if that friendship ends, severs within those couple weeks, they're not paying you back. It ain't happening. Same way with the bank. You put it in there, and if something happens, if they, can't pay their bills, or, they're under water, that kind of stuff, I mean, they're keeping it. They don't owe you anything, and that's legal. Land. Purchasing land. I mean, that I feel it's going to be limited. You're not going to be able to get certain land or an amounts of land, or if you already own this, you can't get this, or because you bought these items, or you continue to not listen or obey, you can no longer get this land here, or purchase from this state, or purchase from this county, or whatever. I mean, that's happening. That's going to happen. House. You can't purchase a house because of whatever. It's going to be there. Rentals. You can't rent from these places because of whatever. It doesn't matter. I mean, they're going to use the same old arguments. Well, it's a race thing, it's a sex thing, it's a this thing, it's a whatever. That's not the case. It all comes down to control. It does not matter. Those are just dividing, things they use. They use these division systems to divide people to control them easier. That's it. Same with vacations, entertainment. I mean, it just goes down the list. So again, I just want to say this: CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, are not money. Federal dollars and digits from them are not money. Money has a real intrinsic value, a real use, and it has a demand for it. Why? Whether people are using it for barter or not, it has a use. I don't know how to explain that any better, but I just want to say, remember the beginning of the pandemic and how much control they took from you, and how much freedom they took away from you. You haven't gotten a lot of it back, and it's going to get worse. So, anyways, thanks for watching. As always, if you like this, like, share, subscribe. Stay vigilant, protect yourself, protect your family, protect your health, and protect your wealth.